My name is Liam, and I was saved by God one day, and it was awesome. I'm here to share my testimony, and I'd like to say that it all really began when I was born. I mean, honestly, before then, but the story starts when I was born. When I was very young and just recently alive, I pretty much almost died, like instantly, because like my heart stopped, like I'm a zombie. I was in the NICU and I was in there for like a month, and like my parents were like really worried about me. I don't really remember any of this. Some elders from my church came to pray over me, and my parents insisted that they also anoint me with oil because they say to in James. And so they anointed me with oil and prayed over me. And it was from that moment that I started getting better. That is the only reason why I am alive today. That really just has left like an impact on my life. Just being alive in the first place. I didn't really start my life with a relationship with God, only came to actually know Him when I got to around middle school. And as I was getting out of the 7th grade, I came to a church camp for the summer because some really nice old lady was like, "Hey, I want Liam to go to church camp." And I kind of wanted to go to a camp. And so she paid for my way to church camp. And I don't know how much it was, but I don't think it was cheap. And that was really nice. Then at there, I was like, I really want to know more about God and know that I'm saved and everything and make sure all that kind of stuff. Like there's a lot of doubt that comes into growing up in Christianity. Like how do you know that you're really actually saved? How do you know that you really believe in God? Because, I had thought it was, you believe that God is real and that's what saves you. It's like, how do I know that I really actually believe that it's true? Going into church camp, I'm like, well, this is going to be God plus. This is where I'm going to get like some big time God. And so I go in there and that's what I got. I got to spend more time with God. He was there and it was clear. It was a mountaintop experience. I don't remember many of like the actual like messages during the church camp, but I have this one moment where it was in like a small group. We were just talking and we were sharing things. I never really talked with anyone there about it. I didn't really come away with that church camp having like made friends with anyone or talked to any of like the leaders or anything. They had just read like John 3:16, but they'd went on about how we should love our neighbor as ourselves and how Jesus loved us so much that he came down to earth to die for us, like John 3:16 and all that. That just like really hit me because I was really dealing with a lot of self-hate. Like I hated myself and it was painful. There was a lot of guilt that I had that I just couldn't be someone better, and even though I had no idea who it was that I was meant to be or who I wanted to be, I just felt like I wasn't enough. And so like I actually felt God like right there, like actually telling me not to hate myself as much because I'm supposed to love my neighbor as myself. I'm not supposed to love my neighbor more than me. There's a balance there. And I'm supposed to care about myself because God made me and he loves me. I didn't really have the relationship with God before then. It was mind-boggling to me. God loves me, just some random schmuck. And that I didn't even put two and two together before that moment that God was like someone real. I believed he was real, but he was more of like a concept to me, if that makes any sense. Like, I had total and complete confidence that he was real, but it's like almost like George Washington. Like, I'm not gonna be able to have any sort of communication with him, and he's more of like an idea in my mind, more so than like a person I can talk to. I was moved to tears that night, and I remember just sitting in like some vehicle and praying to God on the way back to the camp that night, that God would help me to love myself, because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I felt like, I could obviously move some steps towards that, but if I really wanted to get better, the fastest and easiest way to do that is to ask God to do it, because I know he wants me to. And I prayed he would help me love myself, and he did. He did help me love myself. I love myself now. Not perfectly, but he really helped me a lot. I also prayed that he would give me the wisdom of Solomon, because I know in the Bible he had given Solomon wisdom because Solomon had asked for it, and that God had deemed it was a good thing to ask for, so God gave it to him. So I also asked for wisdom, and I feel like God has blessed me. I'm not like the wisest person in the world or anything, but I was an idiot before, and I'm less of an idiot now. So I'd say it worked. Really, since then, I really kind of like picked up a Bible, like genuinely, for the first time after that. I read my Bible, and I read John. I don't really remember much of John. I need to reread that. That book like struck me, and like I feel like God like really grabbed my heart reading John. And so I really started to pay more attention in church, mainly. Like, I read John, and I didn't really read much of the rest of the Bible after that for a really long time, but I really, really paid attention in church. I paid really hard attention, and I was really proud of that for a while, and that's where I did a lot of learning about God, was from church, and just taking mental notes in the sermon and like trying to apply that in my life to like what God was teaching me. And it really kind of stayed that way for a really long time. Like, it was just kind of me, and I was treating church kind of like class for life almost. I didn't really have any friends in the church still. I really only furthered my relationship with God afterwards in college. Like, I'd say like 8th grade, freshman year, was really good for my relationship with God. Afterwards, I kind of put that on hold a bit, but my relationship with God was still good. It just wasn't going anywhere. I was more lukewarm. In my 2nd year of college, I had heard of this Christian club a couple of times called Christian Challenge, and my parents said that I should go because, well, I didn't have any Christian friends at the time, and they were like, well, how are you going to meet a nice Christian girl if you don't go to any places where you're going to meet Christian people? And because, well, yeah, no, I didn't really talk to anybody at church, so this made sense. And so I started going to Christian Challenge. I made friends there, and it was one of the best things that has happened in my life, because I have met people who have encouraged me to read my Bible, and because of that I have actually started reading my Bible again, and I can say I have on my own read more than one book of the Bible now. And I made like a lot of excuses before, but now I'm spending time with God in more than just church. My prayer life has gotten better. I spend a lot more time with God than I did before. It's not just, there aren't like parts of my life I'm not spending apart from God. And that has been a really big blessing in my life, and I'm really happy because of God. He is my best friend. That has been my life. I've met wonderful people because of God, and most of all, I have met God. Here is the Bible.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that now you know my testimony.
Should I sign off?